a hard pass. And the opposition, that's not right. You don't get any cards or any warnings from the referee. No, he just lets everything go. I've been asked to show the instances where my players' feet go through the opposition. I don't mind doing it. I've showed it before on some of my stuff. I've spoke about it when it's happened, when I've been wanting to show something. It's not like I deny it. I don't deny it at all. It happens because the game's just so fucking broke. But the problem I've got with it is, like now, I'm in a PEU Cup final. I've sat down on my backside in my lounge with my pad in my hand, and as a games player, which is why you go to the shop to buy games and play games, you want to play it, you want to learn it, you want to win a football match in a football game. You want your team to win. So your mentality as a games player is to sit down and win the match that you're playing with your pad in your hand, sat with your backside on your seat. What I'm doing now. When you see things going wrong in the game, you will feel it because you're in that mode that you want to win. So my footage on YouTube, just playing games, is just that. That's what it is. When I've seen it before where my players have kicked through the opposition, I've said, you know, it's not right, you know, 'cause it just shows how the game's broken. However, what I will say is, like for example in the Bowerstone Albion game, Bowerstone Albion scored a goal by fouling my player and not touching the football and then putting it in the net. It turns it on, and if you've played PES, you understand what I'm talking about. It turns it on when it can do it and not. As a player, I don't have that functionality. The goal that Leicester scored against Bowerstone Albion, he was being kicked the crap out of in their penalty area when I was trying to dribble. They were all around him like flies around a freaking jam pot. I cannot get my whole team to function as feisty and as in your face as that. They won't do it. In fact, the computer, and you'll know this, the computer will nerf your team. It will nerf your teamwork and it will nerf your individual stats of your players to make them slower, more error prone. It will fuck them over. But it will go into real cheat mode where it can turn things on. Like, for example, it needed to score. It couldn't get the ball, so it didn't care. It needed to score, so it switched it on. Now we have the ball, it's in the net. There you go, that's game difficulty. Well, it's not game difficulty. And if I start getting into the bit where I'm showing my players kicking through theirs on a time because the collision detection is so fucking bad, then I'm going to be pausing the game a lot. And the other thing that's going to happen is, it's going to be difficult to do because when I'm sat down, I want my players to win. If I'm going to start picking apart the collision detection of my team on the opposition, then I'm not in that mode. I'm not trying to win a football match. I'm in an observation mode where I'm observing the game program of PES and how it works in total. Now I don't mind showing it, and like I say, I've shown a couple of instances back in my, I can't even remember which matches or which PES is. It could be PES 2015 and 2016 if memory serves, but I've slept since then. But you know, it's not something that I'll categorically deny. There's nothing to deny. PES is broke. It's got shit collision detection, and that's for the players' team and the opposition's. It's just that, you know, as I say, you know, when you're in that mode, you want to win. I'll try to show it if I can. I'll probably miss a lot because I'm that keyed in to try and win a game that I'm that sort of, and that's not right, and then I'll pause it and I'll have a look like this bit. But if it's my team and I'm trying to fight, and you understand what I'm talking about, I'm trying to fight the opposition when it's in that mode of it's got stat boost, it's really cheap. I mean, this game right now is just very unpleasant to play. They are moving so fast and they're so switched on. And like I said, you know, and you've seen, my forwards just don't seem to want to run when I've got the opportunity to play it. And then when I don't have the opportunity to play it, they want to run. And it's just, they're not doing that. If you've seen this match so far, they're not doing that. So anyway, back to this instance here. Their player hasn't touched the football. Once again, you know, shit collision detection. He's already fouled my player back there once, as I've shown you. And he's going to foul him again here. So 2 fouls. I mean, here, you know, he's gone through my player there, look. And he's trying to foul him. And he does, because his knee goes into his side there, look. You can see his legs right into the side of my player. So there's fouls, and it definitely is in cheat mode, this game, because it's a match that means something. It's a cup final, isn't it? So I knew I was going to get cheating today, and I did. So hopefully I've explained a bit about, you know, the collision detection for both teams. As I say, if I see it, if I'm in that mode where, you know, I can pause it and objectively have a look at it, fair enough. I might have to do a separate, it might not be my Ridge County playthrough, I might have to do a separate match just to look at the workings of how it works for the player's team and how it works for the opposition's team. That might be it, as opposed to a match that I'm trying to win. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, cheat mode in this match so far. And the other thing as well I want to add about the whole, but the players kick through the AI thing, is you've noticed yourself if you've played PES, it nerfs your challenges, it forces your men behind theirs. And it puts like invisible walls so that your players bounce off them, as I've showed that. So your players get to kick through theirs less. I frankly don't understand this. Their player puts his foot on top of the ball, and you'll see his leg kind of in a snapping motion, kind of there. It kind of like snap. Now, my player's foot should be able to connect to that football because his foot is elevated. Speaking of invisible force fields, this is one, isn't it? And away he goes. What is he hit by? He's hit by the computer overriding and being in cheat mode. The computer is allowed to have the ball, but your player is not. And this is what I talk about when I talk about the unfair set of rules, and it can switch them on when it wants, and that is unavailable to me. So ropey collision detection, you know, is there for both teams, but it's there much more for the AI, and it can turn it on at will when it wants. I don't have that button. I don't have that functionality. I can't nerf its players. I can't switch on to kick through their player to score a goal. When have you seen a goal scored by my team that kicks through their players? When? But I've seen the ball travel through my defender, as in the Newcastle one. I've seen the ball, you know, being in front of my player and their player behind him, and he's kicked through my player to score. I've seen all that, but I've never seen my player kick through theirs to score a goal in my playthrough in 2016, and all the goals are up on YouTube. So, do you know what I mean? And it's a set of rules. I can't have that functionality to switch it on. I wish I could. I'd even up the play then. Nerf their attacks, nerf their challenges, nerf. Do you know what I mean? Put invisible force fields around my players. That'd be nice to do it at will. But it can do it at will. When it wants. He's going to score another goal in a minute. There. I turn around with Lammers and he just barges my player and takes the ball. Just rammed into him. No intent to get the ball here, just get the player there. And take the ball. They're going to score now. Along with all their stat boosts and speed boosts and everything else like that. That is unreal. See here, my player has kicked through their player. You see that, right? So here's a clear opportunity of what I was being asked to show. There's a big difference here though, and if you compare it to other things you'll see what I mean. The Bowerstone Albion goal where they foul Bullen is a key one. Here Lammers puts his foot out, he can't get to the football, he doesn't touch the football. His foot goes planted and his leg goes through their player. Their player does not react to that confirming foul. That's a very key point. It doesn't, you know, it's not like, what can I say, how can I say it? You know, as I said before, it shows how shit PES is. It's not like that it's good that the players' team can do this as well. It's just bad that the whole game is like it. I think that's the best way to describe it, isn't it? You know, it just shows how fucked the game is. But here, my player would have fallen over, and if, you know, in this scenario, if they'd been doing that to my player would fall over and they would take the ball. But my player again, I mean, even this, it's like the rules are not even, are they? Their player should by rights be falling over, allowing my player to take the ball then, if we're playing to a fair set of rules. And that's my point. That is my point. My point is that when you're playing the game, you want to win. And so when it adversely affects your team, you do cry foul. You do react as if, it's just cheated against me. When my player kicks through their player, obviously that's showing how broken the game is, but my player doesn't have the set of rules that it does. Their player should be falling over, I should be taking the ball then. But no, that happens to my team. And so do you see the difference? I mean, you can go back and you can look at, you know, other ones where they fouled my players react and stuff. I mean, like the incidents today. My players reacted, their players taking the ball. You know, there's loads of them on my channel. But my players don't react like he did and keep their footing and carry on like nothing's happened. You know, that's another function I don't have to switch on and turn on and off on my pad. You know, it is stacked against the player. It is. And there's no getting away from it. It's fact. Finally we get one there. Go on, put it in. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Shot was keyed in, it was on the bar, ready to go. I mean, you can see that in free play. Well, that player's not touching the football. He hasn't touched it. He's affected it. He has absolutely affected the football. Look at that.